Aston Martin has decided to open its backstage and reveal in even greater detail its plans for the future of its driver lineup. And contrary to what many predicted, the team may feature heavyweights to face the new cycle of regulations that is coming. Despite Lance Stroll's recent performance not being exactly worthy of great celebrations and trophies, the recent statements from the new team principal Andy Cowell offer a different, more optimistic, and expectation-filled vision for the future. With Fernando Alonso making it clear that he does not intend to retire after the 2026 season, the possibilities of a solid partnership between Honda and Aston Martin are growing stronger, generating speculation about the direction the Silverstone-based team might take. And even more importantly, what will be the immediate and long-term impact of Adrian Newey's arrival in this new competitive context? There is no doubt that Aston Martin stands out as one of the teams arousing the most curiosity and anxiety among fans for the upcoming regulatory era of Formula One, constantly being a topic of debates and expectations throughout the paddock. The team based in Silverstone chose to reaffirm its confidence in the partnership between Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll. And, however controversial this decision may seem to many analysts, specialists, and fans worldwide, this is the scenario being drawn for the next few years. The choice to keep Alonso is easily justifiable, considering his enormous legacy, unquestionable technical ability, and vast racing experience. Alonso, with his technical skill and deep understanding of race dynamics, is seen as a key figure for developing the car under the new regulation. However, when it comes to Lance Stroll, believing he could become a world champion, even with all the financial, structural, and logistical support he has, sounds, at the very least, overly optimistic and disconnected from the current reality of Formula One. Andy Cowell, however, was categorical in stating his satisfaction with the duo, and even said that the team feels truly lucky to have these two drivers in its lineup, emphasizing that he believes in the potential of both to elevate the team to a new level. Highlighting the qualities of a two-time world champion like Fernando Alonso is more than natural. It is practically an institutional obligation within Formula One. His longevity on the tracks, combined with his sharp strategic sense, makes Alonso a true living encyclopedia of motorsport. However, when it comes to Lance Stroll, especially after embarrassing incidents like the formation lap accident at last year's Brazilian Grand Prix, it is extremely difficult not to raise questions about these statements. All recognition must be given to Lance's journey, who indeed reached the elite of world motorsport. However, it is equally essential to admit that without the financial support and direct influence of his father, Lawrence Stroll, his presence on the Formula One grid would be highly unlikely. This reality is something even part of the public, specialized journalists, and former drivers openly acknowledge, highlighting the weight external factors have had and still have on his career. When commenting on Fernando Alonso, Andy Cowell did not hold back praise. He is a truly remarkable individual. When we look at the different categories in which he has succeeded and observe his racing ability, intelligence, and strategic vision, it is easy to see that he brings valuable contributions to every meeting and interaction. In many situations, Alonso suggests simple, smart, and incredibly effective solutions, provoking that "why did we not think of that before?" feeling. His role goes beyond car optimization. He is a real catalyst for improvements throughout the team. His insatiable hunger for victories is something that infects and motivates everyone. The situation involving Lance Stroll, however, is considerably different. Despite Cowell's public praise highlighting Lance's youth, enthusiasm, and feedback ability, it is extremely hard to believe that this is the majority and authentic perception behind the scene. The former Mercedes engineer emphasized the qualities of his drivers, but the harsh reality is that Aston Martin is, among all the major teams on the grid, one of those that have regressed the most in terms of performance since last season. The Green Team is still working on adjustments to the 2025 car, but it is evident that the absolute priority is already the development of the project aimed at 2026. The new updates expected to be introduced in the coming weeks will be crucial to validate the use of the new development facility and for Lawrence Stroll to have a concrete basis to evaluate whether the heavy investments made are truly bringing returns to the team. Considering this sharp decline in performance, it seems increasingly inevitable that Adrian Newey will play an absolutely prominent role in the team's future, especially due to the chronic difficulties in receiving precise feedback from the current drivers, particularly from Lance Stroll. Newey, who has repeatedly expressed admiration for Alonso's technical and strategic skills, knows deeply the Spaniard's potential to transform a team. However, the lack of similar enthusiasm regarding Stroll is evident. Integrating Newey into the project without causing internal ruptures will be one of the biggest challenges Lawrence Stroll will face in the coming months, as it will involve not only technical issues, but also management and political matters within the team. Recently, Lance Stroll set a record that no driver would want to hold. He became the competitor with the highest number of Q1 eliminations in Formula One history. This statistical data, which caused discomfort even among Aston Martin's most fervent fans, highlights the difficulties faced by the Canadian in converting all the provided structure into tangible results. In his defense, Stroll claimed that even renowned drivers, such as those from McLaren, would suffer similar eliminations if they were driving inferior cars like Sauber. However, this justification is far from being reasonably accepted among analysts and former drivers who closely follow the paddock and understand the complexity of the current competitive landscape. In the current scenario, Aston Martin's insistence on maintaining the same driver lineup could result in losing a truly unique opportunity. Having Max Verstappen, the four-time world champion, has already shown on numerous occasions his ability to extract impressive performances even under adverse conditions. If Verstappen were provided with a top-notch structure, strengthened by the presence of Adrian Newey and Honda's technological prowess, it would be absolutely plausible to imagine Aston Martin directly competing for titles. However, Fernando Alonso has made it clear that his retirement is still undecided. In a recent interview, he stated, "Last year, we analyzed all possibilities and renewed the contract. But after 2026, everything is open. I will make my decision based on my personal motivation, on-track performance, and health. At the moment, I am extremely motivated, but it is simply impossible to predict how I will feel in 3 or 4 years." The team's situation, although uncomfortable from various perspectives, is somewhat understandable. With Adrian Newey working exclusively on the 2026 project and receiving a staggering annual salary of $33 million, it is natural for Lawrence Stroll to start pondering the cost-benefit of this investment, especially if short-term results do not materialize on track. Furthermore, the Constructors' Championship configuration also weighs in the equation. Should the team finish below 5th place in the overall standings, they will gain more wind tunnel time for the development of the new cycle's car, which could be extremely valuable for building a competitive model within the new regulation. Thus, there is a silent strategy to accept an underwhelming performance this season to harvest stronger results in the near future. This entire dynamic becomes even more complex when we consider Honda's active participation in future decisions. The Japanese manufacturer has already made it clear that it wishes to have a say in the choice of drivers for the 2026 project. Koji Watanabe, president of Honda Racing Corporation, declared, "The number of spots will decrease, but Honda will continue to have a voice in the team's choices for the coming years. The final decision lies with Aston Martin, but our opinion is crucial, just as it is at Red Bull Racing." And you? What do you think about Aston Martin's strategy regarding its drivers? Do you believe that missing the chance to sign Max Verstappen could become a historic mistake and cost the team dearly? Leave your opinion in the comments, and do not forget to click on the video that is now appearing on your screen.